The Chicago White Sox take on the Baltimore Orioles, 105 Eastern Standard Time. The White Sox are minus 180 on the road with the total at 10.5 juice to the under. Baltimore is plus $1.55 for some money line cash. And if you like them on the run line, they're plus 105, catching the 1.5. Spencer Watkins on the mound for Baltimore, Dylan Cease for Chicago. And we're 3-0 in our last three underdog tier package picks on my Patreon website. And if you want to access our underdog tier package pick, it's only going to cost you just $4.99. For access to that membership all the way through the end of July, we also won 5 out of our last 7 underdog tier package picks in that very same category. And the good news is we have another underdog tier package pick going off here this evening. We currently have over 900 folks who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, the link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, Dylan Cease is 7-4 thus far in the season, 111 strikeouts through just 87 innings of work. The White Sox are currently on a 4-game winning streak, and they currently lead the majors in striking batters out on the road. Chicago's giving up just 3.8 runs a game, and they're also in the top 3 in scoring. Tim Anderson is in the top 10 in the majors in batting average. The shortstop is hitting .310 along with 131 total bases. Jose Abreu is also in the top 5 in the league in RBI. He's knocked in 66 runners already. Now they're taking on a last-place Baltimore team who has the fewest wins in the American League. The O's are just 28-60 overall for the year, and they've gotten the W in just 30% of their contests at Camden Yards. The O's are dead last in the majors in runs allowed at home, bottom 3 in hits allowed. Now total-wise, the O's saw 8 out of their last 10 outings get over the number, 4-0 to the over in their last 4 at home. Meanwhile, the White Sox went 80% to the over in their last 10 themselves, 6-2 to the over in their last 8 away from home. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago White Sox minus 180 in the over 10.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Royals versus the Indians, 1:10 p.m. Eastern first pitch. The Cleveland Indians are minus 145, numbers 10. Eli Morgan for Cleveland, Carlos Hernandez for Kansas City. Now, Hernandez only has 21 2/3 innings under his belt this season, 4.98 ERA and a 1.66 whip. The last place Royals have won just 15 out of 46 road games, and they're in the bottom 3 in road walks allowed. This Kansas City pitching staff is also in the bottom 5 in runs allowed as well. Kansas City's currently on a 4-game losing streak, and they also dropped 6 out of their last 7. They're taking on a Cleveland squad who's on a 3-game winning streak themselves, and of course, all 3 of those wins coming against the Royals in this very series. Now, this Cleveland lineup, they're in the top 10 in the league in fewest strikeouts at the plate, certainly doing a good job making contact. Jose Ramirez is in the top 20 in homers with 19 of them. Meanwhile, Cesar Hernandez has hit 15 home runs along with 137 total bases. Meanwhile, pitching-wise, the Indians are in the top 10 in striking batters out. When it comes to the total in this one, Kansas City's gone 15-9 to the under in their divisional games on the road. They're also 26-20 to the under when they travel for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward the Cleveland Indians minus 145 and the under 10 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be in the AL East. I'm talking about the Blue Jays versus the Rays. 1:10 p.m. East. The Toronto Blue Jays are minus 125, numbers 8.5. Robbie Ray for Toronto, Rich Hill for Tampa. The Hill's 6-3 thus far in the season with a 3.65 ERA and a 1.11 whip. The lefties also struck out 85 batters in just over 86 innings. The Rays are on a 6-game winning streak, and they find themselves in the top 3 in the majors in home hits. Brandon Lau's in the top 15 in homers with 20 of them. Meanwhile, catcher Mike Zunino, he has 19 homers himself along with 37 ribbies. This Tampa club also allows just 3.1 runs a game at the Trop. They're taking on a Toronto club who lost 4 out of their last 5 ball games themselves. And in addition to that, they also have a losing record against divisional opponents. This Blue Jays lineup is in the bottom 5 in offensive walks on the road. And when it comes to the total in this one, Toronto's 28 and 19 to the under when they travel. Tampa Bay went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. I'm going to lean toward the Tampa Bay Rays plus 105 and the under 8.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for part 1. It is going to be Braves versus the Marlins, 1:10 p.m. Eastern start time. Miami Marlins are minus $1.25, number 7. Pablo Lopez for the Marlins, Ian Anderson for Atlanta. Anderson's 5-4 with a 3.27 ERA and a 1.16 WHIP. The righty struck out 94 batters in just over 93 innings of work. Atlanta, they're currently on a 3-game winning streak, 7-3 straight up in their last 10. And despite a devastating loss with Ronald Acuna here this weekend, we're still looking at a fairly strong Atlanta lineup who does rank in the top 10 in scoring. Ozzie Albies, he's knocked in 60 runners, and he also ranks in the top 10 in RBI. Meanwhile, Freddie Freeman, he's also hit 19 homers and knocked in 50 himself. The Braves are taking on a last-place Miami club who's a dozen games below 500, and they also find themselves on a 3-game losing streak. Now, this Marlins lineup is in the bottom 3 in strikeouts per game, and they're averaging only 3.9 runs per contest. And as good as Pablo Lopez has looked this season, he comes into this contest here today with just a 4-5 record. Now, when it comes to the number in this one, the Marlins are 10-6 to the under in their divisional games at home. Meanwhile, the Braves have gone 14-8 to the under in their road games against the NL East themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Atlanta Braves plus 105 and the under 7 runs. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my Patreon website. Chicago White Sox minus 180 over 10.5. Cleveland Indians minus 145 under 10 runs. Tampa Bay plus 105 under 8.5. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 3-0 in our last 3 underdog tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also 5-2 in our last 7 underdog tier package picks in that very same category. I'm going to lean toward the Atlanta Braves plus 105 and the under 7 runs. And with that, guys, now it's time for some shout outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to RCNYC, Drew the Chosen One, Bill Phillips, Tegan Niemeyer, Chris Reed. Also want to give a shout out to Moneyball365, Blaine Medvick, James Medina, Mike DePaz, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Ralph Kalingasan. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys do end up getting a package here today on my Patreon website, just keep in mind, Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership on my Patreon website, just keep in mind you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of July. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.